Okay, this video will help you understand how selling manure, an essay that was written by a college freshman, actually. Bonnie Jo Campbell is the author. I have adapted this for teaching purposes, but she is the original author of the original piece. This is a sample of an expository essay that meets the unique criteria of true and authentic real writing. So I want to use the rubric. Remember, you can find the rubric. It's at the bottom of the Essay 1 assignment. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can find the rubric. The rubric is organized by content, structure, style, and mechanics. Structure, I also use the word organization often. I usually say organization, actually. I want to look at this piece and talk about how it meets the 4.0 level for content organization, style, and mechanics. And it really offers students a formula, a model for writing successfully in this class. First of all, let's talk about content. So in terms of content, the rubric says the topic is extremely well selected and the ideas are developed with excellent insight, unity, and clarity. Okay, what that means in the essay is that the student picks something, the writer is writing about something the writer understands really well. And then what the writer shares about the topic is expository. So if I was going to tell you, hey, you're going to read an essay about selling manure, the expository question for the essay is actually, what are the ways selling manure affects character? You would immediately start thinking about negatives. Nobody talks about selling manure in a positive way. If we talk about that as work, we're going to talk about how it's stinky. We're going to talk about how it's embarrassing. We might talk about how it's something we want to avoid. There's very little redeeming about it. But this writer does what real writers do. To her, selling manure is an onion. It's a deep topic. There is more to it than meets the eye. And she tells us what we didn't expect to learn about selling manure. And the way we learn it is from her personal experience. But the essay isn't about her. She uses her personal experience to teach us about the topic. This isn't a story. This isn't a story of when I was selling manure last summer. It is an essay that uses the writer's personal experiences to provide insight about a topic, a public topic. Selling manure and other manual labor jobs are a public topic. It's a topic that other people think about. It's something we can all learn about. Work, labor, its nature is a common topic of writing because work makes up so much of our life. So the biggest reason this essay is successful is that its content is expository. But then it does all the things that an essay needs to do. In terms of organization, its overall plan enhances purpose. That means it's got a good grabber. It's got a clear thesis. It has topic-centered topic sentences that offer one answer to the expository question, offer one insight about the topic. So in this case, one way selling manure impacts character. The conclusion isn't just a summary. In terms of style, it's very clear and consistent, and there is no disruptions because of mechanics. So this definitely is a successful essay. And remember, the way you use this rubric, writing is strange how it's graded. If you have perfect organization, style, and mechanics, but you don't tell us anything we don't already know, if the ideas are not insightful, that means the essay is a 1.0. So your grade, for those of you who get really wrapped up in grades, is whatever category is the lowest. If you have great ideas, but it's full of mechanical errors, it's a 1.0. If you have great ideas and it's organized well, but the style of your sentences is terrible, if it's extremely wordy, if it's unclear, if you just said your essay into your phone and turned it in, it'd be a 1 point. This essay, Selling Manure, successfully reaches the 4.0 level in all of those categories. So let's dive into it. First of all, the author uses a story to engage us, very intentionally working on grabbers. Now, I don't have you work on introductions or grabbers for your rough drafts. I want you to just use your expository question to start your rough draft. After you have your essay built, you can go back and work on this. There's a whole presentation about introductions and conclusions. But what is good about this introduction and conclusion is she's intentionally using vivid details to engage us. It's a very intentional act. Something else that she's also doing is she's really establishing her credibility. We really believe that she is going to be able to tell us about selling manure because she's establishing her personal experience with it. All of this, all of these opening paragraphs up until here are the introduction. Now, that may be a lot different than things you're used to writing in high school. I see a lot of writers that write 3 sentences for an introduction, and that's good. You want to spend time engaging us in a real writing project. And then we get the thesis. It's actually 2 sentences. Just as surprising was the impact such work had on my character, Selling Manure captures the deeper impact in many seemingly menial jobs. So this is the thesis, okay? And notice that it's not about her. It's not about her summer job. It's about the topic, selling manure, like other menial jobs, can have a deeper impact. So then after the thesis, we move into the body, and the first sentence of the body, first body paragraph, is a topic sentence. And notice how it's topic centered. This first sentence is not about her. It's about the topic. The hard physical labor of collecting the manure was reviving. And if I had told you one effect of selling manure is that it gives you life, if I told you that before reading this, you'd be like, you're crazy. You might still be crazy, think I'm crazy after reading the first line. But then as she gets into the details, these details help us feel, know, and believe the point. What made it reviving? She was surrounded by life, and she describes the horses and the snakes. She was able to daydream, right? She literally talked about how this kind of work revives her soul. She rejoins the world of the living. The writing serves as a way for us to understand the experience, and the experience shows the insight about the topic. Another way the work affects characters in regards to how it freed me. Okay, now she's saying that delivering manure is liberating. That is not something you would have guessed right away, right? No one would have said delivering manure sets you free. And yet, she has this topic-centered statement and answer to the question, and then tells a story of how it set her free. And she doesn't just tell us it set her free. She shows us. I really love this sentence right here. As we rattled through well-kept neighborhoods in a pickup full of stinking manure, I loosened the safety belt and hung my leg out the passenger side window. And I felt like master of all I surveyed. If you have your leg outside the window of the car, you are not embarrassed. You are not ashamed. You are relaxed. That is a posture of a king on his throne, a queen on her throne. Then she says, work like selling manure creates a certain kind of pride. Again, we get something about selling manure we wouldn't expect, that it creates pride. And for this idea, she goes into several paragraphs. She gives a broad description, and then she goes into detail about one person and quotes him. This is really exploding a moment, which is a great technique for a writer, where you go in depth and tell it as if it's a movie scene. How did this make you proud? How did selling manure make you proud? Part of the pride was the other people that you hang out with, who are also really happy about their shite, about their stuff. Again, another insight at the beginning of the paragraph. There is no vocation more honest than selling manure. So her outline would have been, her expository question would be, what are the effects of selling manure? And her outline would have been, it's reviving, it's liberating, it creates a sense of pride, and there is no vocation more honest. The writer uses 2 paragraphs to conclude. The conclusion starts here, and it's not just a summary. It doesn't just tell me what you just said. It doesn't just repeat the thesis, but expands on the point. She actually explores the implications. Okay, I had this summer experience. These are the things I learned about selling manure. So what? What did those lessons about selling manure add up to? And it made her realize that even the smelliest job has its rewards, that we should not make assumptions about jobs. And then she uses actually a little bit more narrative, this anecdote and imagery, to make us understand the big point. This is 1,000 words. So this is the length that you're looking for. It has a grabber like the grabber you want. It has a thesis like the thesis you want. It's got body paragraphs like the body paragraphs you want. It's got a conclusion. It's effective writing on all levels. And it's about selling animal poop. Yes, you can be expository about something like that. You need to find something in your life that you know really well and that you think is deeper than people realize. And through the course of writing, you even discover more about it. The act of writing makes you realize truths about it. And then you use ideas and details so that the reader feels, knows, and believes what you have to say about the topic. Selling manure.